Good early evening, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for subscribing. This is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. I'm going to read an article on Substack by Yeshua Risen. It's dated April 19, 2025, and it says specifically, feel free to repost these images as you see fit. Many repeats and some are new. The title of the article is Neuroweaponry for Evil Eye Sport. So today is October 1, first day of October 2025. Let me show you what I am looking at here. These are images of albums. Exploding Head Syndrome is a mockery of Havana Syndrome. Remote neuroweapon torture. And these are, back in the day, we had vinyl records and album covers, which were a big thing. And this is what I'm looking at here. Pink Floyd, Audio Slave, Radiohead, Headshot, Nuclear Assault, Kill Your Brain, Iron Maiden, Metallica. The only one there that I listened to back in the day was Pink Floyd. So here we go. Voice to Skull V2K Tech is dismissed in favor of instant schizophrenia diagnoses from unqualified laymen and pros alike. But why? What's to hide? I mainly posted this as a reference for comments I leave here and elsewhere. While this info still isn't well known and some don't care to invest time in his full-length video, the video has many video clips with proofs, hints not shown here. I'm not going to show you the video. If you're interested in this article, you can go to yeshuarisen.substack.com and search for this individual's articles. The montage, meaning the collection of visual vinyl album covers, is from my video about targeted individuals, TIs, and how musicians are involved. It's a form of human trafficking and ritual abuse. Most who are familiar assume the targeting program is strictly government military experiment or similarly related to MK-Ultra. Yet it's become a more of an entertainment network for those involved in the stalking, harassment, and directed energy weapon attacks. It utilizes remote neural monitoring, RNM, and brain-computer interfaces, BCI, that are coordinated through the Terrorist Screening Database, the TSDB, and that one is held by, who has that one? Who created that one? The FBI, and routed through the Alphabet Agency, DHS, Department of Homeland Security servers. Many TIs, targeted individuals, are microchipped, but implants are unnecessary while still often utilized for experimental purposes. Actually, even though the implants are not necessarily, they are used for torture. They are used for specific harassment to harm an individual. You'll see that humans are being made wireless transmitters, a biological computer transmitting internet protocols, MAC addresses have been recorded. And as far as the powers that be are concerned, we are the expendable quote-unquote things in the Internet of Things, the IoT. It's a safe bet to say that it's a pay-to-play service for those outside military or acronym agency channels, which is not easy to prove, so we have to start somewhere. Compare it with a wealthy, those people that like the little children, buying time with a kiddo traffic lighted to an exclusive island like Epstein, or a freak-off party house like Diddy, facilitated by a deep state that also traffics guns and drugs as well as people. We're just another drug to get off on, meaning targeted people. We're just, and I've written about targeted people being sexual paraphilias. It's a form of reality TV, very likely on channel OX, Skull and Bones, as we'll see. It's the Running Man meets the Purge, Squid Game, Hostel, etc., and particularly Videodrome. I have to assume quite a lot of folks who like this type of music or other genres with similar symbolism would be in denial that their favorite artists were born bloodline or brought into the New World satanic cult, Novus Ordo Seclorum. So let me show you these images. Very evil. Note that the Church of Satan has a lightning bolt and color scheme, as well as the Sonnenrad, or black sun, Saturn, the Nazi SS symbol, logo used by Soundgarden. The Katzenjammer kids frolic around their targeted victim being monarched, let alone that they would be a secret Santa. Satan? Sadist. Some are, or were called, grunge for a reason, maybe all. They not only communicate symbolically among their cultish selves, but also have to show it while hiding in plain sight. Some call it neutralizing karma by informing the victims, but others in the revelation of method. This short video is one example, with Soundgarden and Audioslave's late Chris Cornell being one of many. Also note May Musk, Elon's Magna Mater. So I will show you. Why do all the famous ones pay homage to Osiris? It's the crossing of the arms. I will not play the video. The X, the letter X, in O is another of their male-female fertility symbols to look at later. F as in Frank. O and X. And F-O-X is a fox, by the way. F-O-X. And guess who was sacrificed recently? Michaela Raines of Save a Fox. So F, O, and X all equal 6. As was stated in the video about X, F equals 6, O equals 15, and 1 plus 5 equals 6, and X equals 24. 2 plus 4 equals 6, so that's 666. Save a fox. Yes, this just confirms that Michaela Raines was a ritual sacrifice. I said it before, I'll say it again, and it's not going to change my mind. Luciferian Alice Bailey of the UN's Lucius, formerly Lucifer Trust, called the externalization of the hierarchy. To summarize, it is a slow crawl of brainwashing consecutive generations until everyone is an uninitiated Satanist by lifestyle, so the cult can eventually act openly, like the Addams Family values for the average person. Do you guys remember the Addams Family? You know, Cousin It. And what was his name? The big monster-looking guy. I forget their names. Morticia. Let's see. Actually, it's more about spiritual ascended masters joining humanity and sounding a lot like the poem Novus Ordo Seclorum is derived from, about Saturn, Satan. She also wrote a 10-point plan to destroy Christianity. Go figure. The targeting program is part of an overall population agenda. The deleting of us for the rest of us, with eugenics manipulated by particular bloodlines and hierarchical stations. Now, this was published in the magazine Wired by Sharon Weinberger, May 9, 2000, and I think this is 8. and it was last accessed on March 25, 2004. Let me show you. Army yanks voice to skull devices. U.S. Army. I'll read the definition and the scope. Non-lethal weapon which contains 1. A neuroelectromagnetic device which uses a microwave transmission of sound into the skull of persons or animals. So they could do this to your pets. They can do this to your farm animals. This is why sometimes farm animals will just suddenly run off your farm. This is why you find them running down the county road or down a highway or whatever, besides the fact that some of them just jump off of their slaughterhouse vehicles. But some of them are driven off their own property. They're being tortured by voice-to-skull devices. And number 2, there's a silent sound device which can transmit sound into the skull of a person or animals. Note, the sound modulation may be voice or audio subliminal messages. One application of V2K is used as an electronic scarecrow to frighten birds in the vicinity of airports. Isn't that interesting? So they could do the same thing to scare animals on your own property. So let me show you some of the images here. And then he writes here, if Ben can do it, imagine what the army or a secret society within the military could. And yes, make no mistake, there are secret societies within the military. Synthetic telepathy, voice to skull. One way to know if you're on the TSDB, the Terrorist Screening Database, and if you're an actual TI, because everyone's a target, as the cover claimed, is when you often have difficulty while traveling, and particularly when trying to board a plane. It may even have a special designation stamped on the ticket, such as SSSS, meaning Secondary Security Screening Selection. And I believe this is what Tulsi Gabbard had on her boarding passes. It has been verified by many targeted individuals, and it's well known that all of our alphabet agencies are complicit. You know, all those 3-letter agencies. We can name them all, you know, the FBI, the CIA, NSA, DHS, all of them. So they have watch list categories. So the category 1 is the no-fly list, and then they arrest you immediately. These are shared with airlines. Category 2 is a suspected terrorist with enhanced screening. So your boarding code would say SSSS. And then you've got the blacklist categories. This is where you and I are on. We're on this list. This is 97% of the TSDB is non-investigative subjects, NIS. So the blacklist categories are distributed through the NCIC. Category 3 and 4, this category 3 is targeted individuals who are aware that they're targeted. They're claiming here that it's 22%. Then there's category 4. These are targeted people who are not aware that they're targeted. They're claiming that's 75%. I'm guessing these percentages are wrong. I don't know how old this is. Category 5 are financial crimes and political persecution, usually less than 1%. Category X is used to protect the elite globalists. This instructs police to do not arrest or detain. Okay? So now there is a little poem here, or lyrics, by Judas Priest. Up here in space, I'm looking down on you. My lasers trace everything you do. You think your private lives. Think nothing of the kind. There is no true escape. I'm watching all the time. I'm made of metal. My circuits gleam. I'm perpetual. I keep the country clean. I'm elected electric spy. I'm protected electric eye. Okay. The eagle of Jupiter in Rome is a bird of prey. TIs are screaming for vengeance every day from V2K microwave attacks. But it's not just the government, because everybody is being tracked by satellite. So let me scroll down. And I believe that this may be part of why I'm targeted. What isn't well known is how some celebrities are part of this program, where it's used as an entertainment network for silent hits. No blood on their hands. Sometimes it's about money, sometimes revenge, or maybe one is chosen as just a viable target of opportunity. But we can assume some amount of pay for play within the program. Someone has to have clearance to nominate a person to the TSDB. However, a brother, quote unquote, within or a connection to the FBI will do it. But more than a military, law enforcement, or an organized crime ring like the mafia, it's ultimately a cult within a cult behind it all, which is exactly why this happens to people worldwide. Novus Ordo Seclorum, New World Order. And then they've got a photo here of the musical group AC/DC. Who are these people meant to represent TI's mob hits? Targets of their own, or in actuality, the innocuous-looking people who are literal Satanists among us? The coincidence of EL at the top may be worth mentioning, a god of human sacrifice. Well, I'm not going to show you some of these images. You can go to yeshuarisen.substack.com. Oh, well, no, this is probably going to be too graphic for TheYouTube. Linked at the end of this video about Black Sun, Saturn, the SS Nazi frequency and bioweapons lab, the research led to things like, that thing, the CV, and the gases deployed against TIs that are often reported, even in classrooms. Gases, nanotechnology, and more can be activated with a frequency as a weapon. Frequency weapon. Big Brother claims we merge with machines or die an inferior species. The trans agenda is both an effort to reduce population demographics that won't be breeding, and at the end result, merging with machine, God singularity. It's also inherently occult, as we'll see why instances occur, like both the Matrix directors changing genders together, an agenda of unholywood brainwashing, the so-called artists hinting about it, and it's inherently evil and unnatural. As asserted, many are most involved with the targeting program and T.I. Truman Show. Ironically, some entertainers are entertained by this. So then there's the CIA mind control operations, MK Ultra, 3 types of people. There's the highly suggestible people, approximately 25% of the population. 50% of the population approximately is average suggestibility, and low suggestibility are approximately 25% of the population. They're difficult to control or alter their behavior. So they want to create a highly suggestible population. And how do they do this? Cell towers transmit frequencies to induce trance states and subliminal messages. Subliminal messages used for behavior program, like the creepy voice that's on all of my live streams. You could hear it underneath. You could hear it from the beginning to the end of the live stream. For a whole hour and a half, the creepy voice is there. Jabby wabbies, after they will alter the DNA and behavior, contain toxins, nanites, heavy metals. They resonate with trance state frequencies. Metals resonate with trance state frequencies. Chemtrails, nanotech delivers specific chemicals and metals to alter behavior. Remote neural monitoring, RNM, is used for measuring the effect of subliminal messages and to optimize programming. The implants are used to measure effects of the behavioral modification sensors. There are thousands of testimonies of roosters in the background. Thousands of testimonies of gang stalking, government organized stalking, and electronic harassment exist on Quora alone, while many have tried grouping together in support of one another. Most all share the same or similar tactics being employed. The same V2K violations, the microwave or ultrasonic frequency assaults. Much of it's a playbook of psychological warfare as applied to the synthetic telepathy harassment, but also utilized in quote-unquote street theater, organized stalking. It's often by very bad actors, ordered to tail on foot or in a vehicle. And yes, they are pretty bad. Of course, there are those cases of actual paranoia and misrepresenting mundane events or shills posting to discredit a TI community, trying to band together when isolation of the target was goal number one, to keep us looking insane. Yet we all report similar or exact same circumstances of stalking harassment. Thousands of us. No, it's not thousands, it's millions of us. The following clips are as close as I could find to the torturous noise TIs are forced to endure. What some call MK Ultra, others term satanic ritual abuse. I'll show you. This is a Star Trek. I don't watch Star Trek. I don't like Star Trek. But you got Trekkies out there? The Neural Neutralizer. This Star Trek episode featuring the Neural Neutralizer, titled Dagger of the Mind, was written by Shimon Winselberg under the pen name S. Bar David and directed by Vincent McKevity. It first aired November 3rd, 1966. It was being so similar to MK Ultra tactics, electronic mind control, and torture, one has to wonder if it's just a coincidence or if someone had insider information to write about it. The difference in acoustic assaults from the above video is that the attacks are delivered intracranially, inaudible to everyone but the target, while hive-minding could facilitate broadcasting, as described by Dr. Robert Duncan in the Project Soulcatcher. It may be similar to the following images, but using the target's own cartilage and bone in their ear delivery has been claimed by some. So let me show you here. This is in an engineering magazine, Science. New technique sends sound to a specific person without the surrounding people hearing it. Whispering beams. How whispering beams work. Whispering beams. One of the main consistencies among TIs is that we're all assumed suicide is the goal when the torture is unbearable, because it's not just electronic harassment. Many have been driven out of jobs, homes, and now sleep on the street or in a car. Isolation of the target, smearing them, breaking up families, and worse are encouraged. Mostly all for the fun of the privilege. They get their shits and giggles. They're sadistic. They're voyeurs. They're peeping Toms and peeping Janes. COINTELPRO, which was a portmanteau derived from co counter-intelligence program was a series of covert and at times illegal projects conducted by the United States Federal Bureau of Instigation aimed at surveilling, infiltrating, discrediting, and disrupting domestic political organizations. Illegal, don't you say? If you read Eustace Mullins' book, A Writ for Martyrs, it tells of the FBI's earlier foray into what would become programs like COINTELPRO, what amounts to Stasi or Gestapo SS techniques for smear campaigns and pitting citizens against one another for money or out of fear to help isolate the target. Oh, they're so sweet. Wow. Isn't there any oversight to these criminals? Mullins wrote The Federal Reserve Conspiracy, so it's obvious why he was one of the first real TIs. His book, The World Order, Our Secret Rulers, a study in the hegemony of parasitism, parasites, also tells a lot. His material and others confirm that our alphabet agencies came about from elite, I call them deletes, European interests, and were always criminally working against citizens under the guise of their authority, and are also the facilitators of traffic light rings, if you get my drift. Now, there's a clip, 3 minutes and 17, I'm not going to play. It's from 1998 interview. Now, I love this, right? It's the 1998 interview with Kay Griggs, ex-wife of Marine Colonel George Griggs, who was the chief of staff to the USMC commandant. She became a whistleblower after learning about her husband's criminal activities. She stated the soldiers would use their electronic surveillance devices and weapons and tactics to stalk women or whomever while calling it an op. She also mentioned in her other parts of her interview how homosexual the collegiate and military fraternities are, as much as those little child worshippers, discussed in more detail in his book, Pedocracy video. She shows the military manual obtained from her husband. Oh, they just hit me in the head, these criminals. Some of the cult brotherhood enjoy keeping quote-unquote pets, which is how we arrived at kids. Usually they're dogs, cats, furries, and a host of woke nutjob victims, enabling theirs and other borderline psychosis, victims of their own programming, no doubt. The clown world some feel we're now living in is filled with bizarro planet idiosyncrasies. The body mods are getting out of control. And let me show you what these disgusting creatures look like. These people are really sick. And this is for educational purposes only, by the way. These are people that have very bizarre tattoos and body, what do you call them, modification devices. I don't know what exactly they're called, what they are. But they look very demonic to me. And I believe that some of this is irreversible and can really harm these people. There's no way to know if these are actual TIs or someone's pet project, or if they're just dealing with emotional issues or a practicing Satanist. Maybe all of the above is possible. The harder part is to prove that the targeting program's connection with occult societies, let alone that the controllers are keeping a human menagerie. One thing is for certain, though, they do mean to control us. And I'm going to end here on that note because the article goes on and on, but I highly recommend reading on and on this article because it goes on to talk about the skull and bones and about the X, about the F, the letter F, and the OX numerology, And for any of you guys that remember that Michaela Raines was sacrificed on the solstice, beautiful woman, claiming that she took her own life, save a fox, FOX is 666, is Kabbalistic. And this is why everything is X now, and is only partially about Osiris, the Green Lord of the Underworld. Not only does it represent the skull and bones, which is death, but the X within the O is a male-female fertility symbol. For some, it's about opening a portal from hell. What the mind's eye of theirs is no doubt headed towards. This is Aleister Crowley's Sexual Magic. MAGICK. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to end because it goes on and on and on. I'm at the 30-minute mark now, and let's see how much longer this is. This is quite extensive. Lots of visuals. I will not post the link. I don't post outside links on the YouTube channel, but I will show you again. This is the name of the article on Substack. And again, this is for educational purposes only. I'm reading an article on Substack by Yeshua Risen, dated April 19, 2025. Please leave a comment down below. I'm sure you'll have many comments on this video. And I'm going to sign off for now. I hope everybody's doing well, and I will talk to you guys soon.